Hey! Alright, so I took an extended leave away from this series. Not because I don't find it important, but just because life happens, and yeah, so. Alright, so we're here with part 4 of the How to Start Homeschooling series. And today we're going to go over boxed curriculum versus creating your own curriculum. Now, for those of you that are brand new, don't understand any of this, let me break it down. Boxed curriculum is going to be your big all-in-one shipment that is for that particular grade level or age bracket, depending on how they structure their curriculum boxes. And it's going to include all of the subjects that you need. You may need to add on whatever math curriculum they have available on their website. And some of the bigger company names that you may or may not be familiar with would be like Abeka, Horizon, Sunlight, let's see what else. Moving Beyond the Pages, Timperdoodle, My Father's World, Bob Jones Press, Bookshark. There's quite a few. So you have a lot of options when it comes to that. Building your own curriculum is exactly what that sounds like. Building your own curriculum, picking whatever you want, making it all work, throwing it all together. I'm going to go into the pros and cons. I'm going to make this video pretty short, condensed, because it's pretty straightforward. Now, I will say that I do have a bias, because I do really believe and support building your own curriculum. And to tell you the truth, I have never done a boxed curriculum. I will say that I have heard the pros and cons from other people who have used boxed curriculum and built their own. So just know that I do have some insights in that regard. Let me get into the pros of a boxed curriculum. You will have everything all in one. If your state has requirements, that all-in-one curriculum is most likely going to meet everything on that criteria list. You're going to have a lesson plan. It's going to be all laid out for you. It's going to have all of those books that you're using that year laid out in what order, what questions to ask, things to say, how to teach, all of that. That's going to be right there, bundled up nicely for you. It'll tell you what to do each day, each week, how many weeks, how many days a week, how much time you're supposed to devote to it, all of that stuff. It'll be right there for you. Really straightforward, pretty simple. Take out of the box and go. As I said, you already have tons of options when it comes to companies. Let me get into the cons of them. The things that deterred me from going with a boxed curriculum, as well as other people that I know personally. So it is pretty easy to fall behind and feel overwhelmed because it is such a set every single day. You know what you're going to do every week, what you should accomplish, and life happens. So you're not always going to stay on track. And if you try, it's going to put you on edge, at least for me. I didn't do a boxed curriculum, but I did do a science textbook our first year from Apologia, and it did have a lesson plan in the beginning of it, kind of outlining what you should be doing every day and every week and so on. If I tried to stick with that, which I did, I was so caught up on being on track and on schedule that I rarely made time to look deeper into subjects that my son was really interested in. I didn't want to skip any of the material, which you can totally do, but I felt like I couldn't. Trying to get everything accomplished, all the activities, assignments, it was too much for me. So I can't imagine all of the subjects being like that. It's also harder to customize. Some of them you can't customize at all. Other ones, you might be able to swap out 1 or 2 items out of the their standard kits. And that wouldn't work well for me and possibly quite a few other kids, because if you're trying to customize their education based on their needs and their learning style and so on, then a boxed set isn't going to have them in the right reading level and math level. It's going to put them in a particular grade level. They might be spanning 3rd through 5th grade when you're buying a 3rd or 4th grade level. So for me, that was a big issue. Another issue that I had, another con, if you will, the price. Oh my word, the price. I cannot believe how expensive some of these kits are. You're looking at spending thousands of dollars. Other ones are like $700. I think the cheapest that I really found was like $300, $400, and that's per child. That was a huge factor for me, which may not sound like much to you, but at the time we were barely making ends meet when we first started homeschooling. We were a single income. My husband went from making $19,000 a year when we first started homeschooling, knowing that we have 3 kids and how much we would have to spend. That seemed like a crazy, ridiculous amount, and I just knew that there had to be a cheaper way of doing it. As I said, I'm really biased, and so I'm really sorry. If you love your box curriculum, share in a comment below, brag up your box curriculum that you thoroughly enjoy and love, because not everybody is in the same situation either. So moving on, I'll get into the pros and cons of building your own. Creating your own curriculum may sound scary, and I was a little hesitant. I scoured the internet forever trying to find a box curriculum that would just fit most of what I wanted, and I just couldn't find it. And so I hesitantly decided I'm going to have to create my own. If the real reason I'm going into homeschooling is that my child can get the best education that they can possibly get, then why wouldn't I customize their own curriculum? So as scary as it was, I took that plunge, and I am sold. I am completely sold. It's kind of the exact opposite of the box curriculums. So building your own, you have more flexibility. You get to choose exactly what your child will be learning about. You get to pick the grade level that fits that child's needs. Oh, and it works really great for kids that span a couple of grade levels. You can, if they're struggling with reading and excelling with math, that could be like a 3-year gap. And it allows you and your child to work at your own pace and not to feel overwhelmed with keeping up with a schedule, an arbitrary schedule according to the boxed curriculum. You can mix and match curriculum from different companies. You might use master books for math and Christian Liberty Press for history, which is what we're doing this year. You might really like a company's language arts, but you think that their history is junk. So you can kind of pick the best that you think is the best and go with that. Now I will say the cons of building your own is that you do have to kind of come up with your own plan. You have to come up with the lesson plans. You have to come up with what subjects you want to study, making sure that you don't miss anything. Like we didn't really focus on spelling at all last year, but we got to pursue more of the things that he loves, so science and math, where this year he just started 5th grade math in 3rd grade. So I love being able to adjust and pick and choose what we focus on. And that the kids can have a say in what they want instead of following the box curriculum. If you are a homeschooler already, I would love to see your pros and cons of boxed versus building your own and your own personal experience. If you could leave that in a comment below and share it with the viewers, that would be so beneficial. This is what homeschool is all about. It's about community. It's about communicating with one another and sharing our experiences and letting people know that, hey, it's okay. You know, maybe you start off building your own curriculum and it's wonderful, and then you realize, hey, I can't keep doing this. You now switch over to box curriculum, and vice versa. Maybe you started with box because building your own was too scary, and then you just took the leap of faith, and now you're a build your own curriculum for life mama. So I will be focusing more on how I schedule our day, our weeks, our year, that sort of stuff in the next video, and what this year kind of looks like for us. And maybe you can even create a pros and cons list of your own. That's what I started with, and that's how I fell upon and fell in love with building my own curriculum. Okay, I have no table here at the foot of my bed. It's all the way over there, so it's kind of a bummer. I didn't think to move it.